The Kia Telluride, the sister vehicle to the ever-popular, on this channel at least, Hyundai Palisade. We've discussed these twins at length a number of times here on the channel, but next year this Telluride is getting a facelift, so let's see if the old dog on its last year still has some new tricks. Mechanically, this Telluride is almost identical to its Palisade sister. This is the SX trim, of course it comes with the V6, which means it's the best equipped Telluride that you can buy. It means it has a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6 that we've come to love in the Palisade. Here in this Telluride, it makes the same 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. That power goes through the 8-speed automatic transmission to all 4 wheels when equipped with H-Track all-wheel drive like we have here. It gets to 60 in just a whisper over 7 seconds. It's not sports car fast, but why would it be? It's a 3-row flagship family SUV, and it's got plenty of power for that. The interesting thing though is actually the fact that it's 2022 here, and this thing only comes with a big, almost 4-liter naturally aspirated V6, which is great for reliability and simplicity, but surprisingly they don't offer like a turbo or a hybrid or a more fuel-efficient option. The V6 does run on an Atkinson cycle, so it does at least make some effort to be efficient. And actually, it's surprisingly efficient. The EPA rates it at 21 mpg combined, but I've been getting better than that this week. So you may be paying a little bit more in fuel, but you'll probably recoup some of that in the lack of maintenance costs. And that's also in tandem with the fact that you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, which is amazing. But we said that this is a family SUV, which means you'll probably have to get people from A to B, and you'll probably want to do that in comfort, right? And it's good news. The ride on the Telluride is great. It doesn't have adaptive dampers, and it's a little stiffer than the Hyundai, but that's because the character of this car is supposed to be a little bit more, quote, exciting. You have torque vectoring corner control, which uses yaw rate and steering sensors to keep power consistent and confident through a corner. And that's great, but this is not a sports SUV. Despite the more exciting personality of this thing, you still have great visibility, a really smooth ride, a quiet cabin, and really, really nice light steering until you want to turn sport mode on it, then it hefts up a little bit. What it amounts to is something that is incredibly easy to drive and spend time in. And isn't that what you're looking for? Another thing that helps the comfortable and confident driving experience is the safety suite. The autopilot on Hyundai Kias is consistently one of our favorites, especially considering you don't have to spend $100 grand to get it. Behind the wheel then, this thing is a great partner. The engine is strong, the power comes on nice and smooth, the transmission is quick and again, very smooth, and the all-wheel drive system kicks in at a moment's notice. So I really like this thing behind the wheel as much as I like the Palisade behind the wheel, which is a lot. But we have to talk about the way that this thing looks. Now, I've always said that this Telluride is the more handsome, the better looking of the twins. And I think I absolutely stand by that, and even going into the facelift that we're gonna see next year. But talking about this one here, we have glacial white pearl, or white, but you have the Nightfall package here, so it's kind of in Stormtrooper spec, which means it's all white with the paint, but you have black accents throughout the entirety of the exterior. You've got black Telluride right here, completely blacked out grille, your new Kia badge. Right here, one of my favorite things, the amber DRLs that you get here is fantastic. I don't know, I've seen them with the white DRLs, looks better with amber. Just my take, whatever. This is functional aero, guys, on this lower valence right here, so it's like, it is a sports car. No, it's not a sports car at all, but still, you have a diffuser down here with some of your radar sensors, you've got a camera in the grille here, and you've got LED ditch lights or fog lights. But then coming around the side here, the air is coming across the wheel to the 20 inch, excuse me, black, I don't know, multi-spoke. They look fantastic though. The wheels are fantastic. Michelin Primacy LTX tires. It's much more on-road centric. It's got the persona and the look to be, you know, muscular and off-roady, and it could be. It's got that center locking diff in some stuff there, but the tire is oriented for street. Of course, you do have some black plastic wheel arch cladding, which is pretty typical. Around the profile, there's not a huge amount going on though. You do have black accents in your wing mirrors, all of your window treatments are blacked out, you have black roof rails, but really it's a pretty simple profile and body line. This is very, very Kia, or very Telluride, I should say, this little almost tooth here. And then the only other profile detail is this little indentation here on the door on the driver's side. Continues all the way back, all the way back. You got your gas cap here. Again, black treatments on the side of your rear windshield. Then you have LED taillights. They look cool. I don't know what to tell you, they just look cool. New Kia badge, black Telluride across the hood, or excuse me, the trunk, and then you've got a black all-wheel drive logo here. It does not say SX back here. It is implied when you're nightfall trim. I don't know if that's true, but you do have a gloss black diffuser with your trailer hitch, 5,000 pound towing rating, and you have dual port exhaust on the right hand side. And the cool thing about the exhaust is when it's idling, it almost makes a V8 noise. It goes wub, 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 wub. It's pretty cool, but the inside's pretty cool too, so let's jump in. All right, you know how I said I like the exterior of the Telluride better? Well, the interior is a little bit reversed, and it's not anything major, it's just tiny little things. Like the Palisade gets a completely digital gauge cluster, whereas this has a mostly digital gauge cluster, but analog actual gauges. But you get really, really nice stuff in here. This headliner is like, I wish the inside of my hoodies was lined in this headliner. You get this synthetic leather, which is nice. It has a nice feel to it. It feels expensive. You've got this fake wood, which is very obviously fake. But hey, I mean, it's nicer than piano black, so I'll take that. They're actually, speaking of piano black, there isn't a huge amount, but it is in some high traffic areas, like down by your gear selector. It's nothing that you really touch all that often. There is some on your wheel, but it is kind of around, so it can get dusty and kind of smudgy. Overall, the design in here is meant to kind of remind you and give you this like rugged feeling. You know, kind of, the Palisade is a little bit more luxury oriented, a little bit more opulent looking, and this is much more, you know, tactile with these grab handles next to your gear selector to make you feel like you're, you know, a little bit more rugged and adventurous than maybe you are. Who knows? I don't know, maybe you are. But even the rugged man needs a lot of technology these days. You do have the semi-digital gauge cluster, which is perfectly usable like we talked about. You have a big head-up display with a bunch of info. Interesting thing for me right now is I haven't found a way to lower it, because right now it shows me my speed, and I have to kind of duck my head to see, like, you know, what my cruise is set at, what my lane keep assist system or status is, blind spot status, and that sort of thing as well. Of course, you have it on the wing mirrors for your blind spot, but it would be nicer to see. I'm sure there's a super simple way to drop that in the infotainment, but I haven't found it as of yet. You do get a 10.25-inch infotainment system, which is quick. It's the same, you know, software that we test in all the Hyundais and Kias, which is very good. It does lack wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, though. You do get passenger talk in here, and you do get quiet mode in here like you did in the Telluride, along with the sounds of nature, but you do not get passenger monitor, so that camera system for the interior here. Obviously you look around, there's no camera on the roof. Back up front though, the 360 camera is very good. The resolution's good, the coloring is good, the brightness is good. You do get Harman Kardon sound system with like a QLS, you know, kind of, I turn the QLS thing off. It has almost like an echo effect to me. I'd like it better off. But it's a nice sound system. You get a heated and cooled seat in the front and the back, which is very nice, and you get a heated steering wheel, which is fantastic. You get a wireless charger and your own dedicated sunroof up front. The front seats here, I think it just bears mentioning, are really nice. They're very well equipped. The materials are very good. It's very comfortable, but for now, let's check out the back seats. Okay, and then in the back, the rear seats do get captain's chairs, at least in this trim, but you can option a bench if you want. The space is fantastic. I have a huge amount of legroom, a bunch of headroom. I've got my own dedicated sunroof. That super soft suede headliner continues back here. I've got climate controls, heated and cooled seats like we talked about, the faux leather trimming, faux wood. And then of course you have peasant blockers slash baby shades slash don't look at me blinds. And the amenities don't stop there either. You have some sort of hook thing to hang a very short shirt, I guess, I don't know. Your door pockets are a normal mat pocket, then you also have like a little smaller one. You don't have climate control vents down here because they are in the ceiling. You have a 115 volt house outlet, a 12 volt charger plus USBs in the back of the seats. Huge amount of space on the floor, like I said, and the seats with the push of a button will fold out of the way. They also go forward and back, and they will recline. Gets 2 cup holders and a USB on each side. Interestingly though, it kind of seems like the third row is a little bit smaller than it was in the Palisade. I'm not exactly sure how that works out, but I do feel like I have a little bit less legroom. The trunk then again feels a touch smaller than you would get in the Palisade, at least with the third row up. With the third row down, you have loads of space. Interestingly though, you can't manually drop or you can't electronically, I should say, drop the third row in the trunk at all. You of course have those little cloth straps that you'll pull and it'll release the seat, and that's how you get it back up as well. You will have buttons in the trunk to release and drop the second row. With everything down, you have a completely flat floor and it is super usable, super nice. You could totally camp down here, look up through your dedicated sunroof and look up at the stars if you wanted to. But then to get everything back up, everything is manual. So there still is some element of the Kia versus the Hyundai differentiation here, but it's small nuances like that. But with that, I think what we have here is a very usable, very practical, very spacious, and very comfortable cabin, along with the exterior design and the driving dynamics, which I think now is a good time to get into the final thoughts. So that's the Kia Telluride. Just like its sister vehicle, the Palisade, we think very highly of this SUV. It's good to drive, very comfortable, practical, well-equipped, and just about any other superlative you can think of. We're very impressed by this 22 and very much looking forward to the facelift in 23. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.